like as a youth hockey player to a teenager playing junior college, whatever, to NHL. It's like in youth hockey, what are some of the things that could be disappointing to you? And like some people will say, well, that's just life, man. But your kids, right? Your kids, and you want to play hockey and have fun and have things go well. So disappointment could be the ice time you're getting, right? Sometimes you get a coach that's just plays to win. Some play fair. Like either way, you could be disappointed in your coach. You could be disappointed in your ice time. You could be disappointed that there's kids on your team, or your best friends on your team have the best equipment, and your parents can't afford that. It's not like your parents are jerks; it's just they can't. It's like, yeah, of course, it's your kid. Of course, you're disappointed that someone got the brand new stick. Every time a new stick comes out, and your dad's finding you the second hand, and heavy at the bottom and all that kind of stuff. Not second hand, second tier, right? Or the skates or whatever. It could be, you didn't get invited to the spring camp that the top guys got. You feel like you're in that quality of hockey player, but you didn't get the invite, or it's the selection camps, all the big things where people get a little bit of glory, and maybe you didn't get that, right? Could be disappointed in teammates, right? Different things like that. As you get older, it could be like when you're getting 15, 16, 17, depending if you're into the OHL or Canadian Hockey League or college. Doesn't matter. Everybody in Canada, anyways, would like to get drafted to the CHL, whether they want to play college or not. It's a feather in your cap, right? So it's when you're playing and you feel like you're a good hockey player, and all of a sudden you're hearing that other guys are getting talked to by teams, or they're getting interviews, or they get drafted, and you got left behind. It's disappointing. You just say, well, what about me? That's what kids do, right? Like, even if you're not the best player on the team, what about me? And how do you deal with that, right? And one good example is we have a kid here that I'm really proud of this guy, because he was how do I say this? Okay, so when he was growing up in youth hockey, he was like an immature hockey player. Like, he had some, not, I wouldn't say he was highly skilled or anything, but he played a tough enough game. He was skilled enough, skated okay, but he played an immature game, and it was like, let's get points. He was a defenseman, get points, and he would try to skate through people and do everything almost individually, and go out of his way to do things to be relevant. So he didn't get drafted, and of course he was disappointed. Then he went from there, didn't get on a junior B team right away, and so he went to play U18. Had a pretty good year. The important thing that he did is, like, with this disappointed, it fueled him. He was disappointed that he didn't get drafted. He got disappointed that he didn't make a junior B team, but it fueled him, and he consistently came to the gym and worked out. He consistently did everything, eat right and work hard and work on his game, and was a good student and all these different things to make himself better. And now he's in his year and a half. Like, he was up and down a little bit in junior B last year. This year he's playing junior B, and he's like putting points up. He's getting a lot of ice time. He's looking really good. He's continuing to work out. He's doing all the things that he can do. And now he's got teams talking to him from colleges, and he's sitting there going, "Oh, okay, this is great." And that's really how you want to approach the disappointments, because he did it the right way, and he's going to continue to. And so all this happening, he might not get that scholarship. He might not get a junior A invite or a chance somewhere else yet. But a kid like this is going to stick to it, because it's just, he knows how to get through it, right?
Yeah.
Which is really good. And then just other things, like when you're in junior and stuff, it's like you get a new coach, or you get what do I have here? There's trades, you get traded, or you're talked about in a trade. It's like, that's disappointing. Like, you look at it like, someone doesn't want me, or you get trades on your team to make it weaker, better, or you lose ice time. Like, there's all these different things that could happen. There's injuries. There's you and your coach maybe don't see eye to eye. And it's like disappointing, because you're actually maybe playing well, whatever, all that stuff, ice drafts, all that kind of stuff. My point to this is that a lot of players just don't stick to it long enough. Not that they just want the easy way. It's just that they don't, when that obstacle or that disappointment comes, is they sit in their diaper for too long. And I know that sounds like maybe not the nicest way to say it. It's just the way I say it. And I don't mean it like really insulting, but it is what it is. is when the disappointments come, you just have to know that that was the next one,
Hmm.
and you have to get through it. And when you get through it, um, there's going to be another one coming. And the most important thing that you want to understand is that, and then I hope people can really understand that, is that when you have them and you get through it, like if you can look at that lens of getting through it and dealing with the disappointment and getting to the next one, every time you get to that, get through one and get to the next, you're making yourself just a little bit stronger and just a little bit more mentally tough.
Hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So I think for me, going through like all the different examples of the disappointments and stuff is useful because now you should be able to identify some of that when it's happening to you, when the disappointments are happening. And I think the key to being able to manage disappointments from playing sport is to view it as part of the process. Like you have to view it as this is just part of the deal, because then you can turn it into a no factor. When you get hit with something that's disappointing or whatever, the one player that you're talking about, not only is he getting hit for years with not getting drafted, not making a junior team, at the same time he's watching his closest friends get all those things that he wants, you know, and he has to swallow that and keep putting the work in to get himself to where he wants to be. Because what he could do is, like you said, just have poopy pants for the next 3 years, and now nothing happens to you. It does you no good to do that, you know. And that doesn't mean that you can't be upset about it or you can't have a little bit of the why me. You can have some of it for a short period of time.
If we were to say, don't be disappointed, just deal with it, or don't be angry, or don't get pissed off, or don't whine about it at all,
Mm-hmm.
then we're idiots.
Yes,
That's not the way it goes.
and I was
You have to have a little bit of, like whatever you want to call it, like a shitty diaper, like mope for a little bit. It's okay
yeah.
to feel like, wow, man, this is like I had an opportunity here and that guy took it away from me, right?
Right. Yeah. And I was explaining this to one of the classes that I teach the other day. I was teaching the other day. It's a younger group of kids. I think they're grade 8s, and we're playing this stupid like keep it up game. And some of the kids that were, when they would lose or get out, like just being a
Yeah,
suck.
yeah,
And the way that I framed it to them is you have to learn how to lose. You have to learn how to lose, and that's what, if you want to call a disappointment a loss, like you have to learn how to take the loss.
yeah,
That doesn't mean you have to be happy about it. That doesn't mean you have to like it.
yeah,
That doesn't mean you have to be pretend positive
yeah,
about we'll bounce back. Like you don't have to do any of that. You don't have to have that pretend attitude. But there's a way for you to take that, internalize it, reflect on it, and then come up with a strategy to overcome whatever that loss was or whatever that disappointment is,
yeah,
right? Whether it's about no ice time, there's things you can do to fix that. Whether it's an injury, there's things you can do to fix that. A bad circumstance from the team perspective, there's
yeah,
things you can do to fix that,
yeah,
you know. And that's the most important thing, is you identify the shitty things that are going to happen as part of the process of the game, and then you have to learn how to lose, man. You have to learn how to take that and develop a strategy after you go through your period of feeling bad for yourself and that kind of thing.
yeah, yeah, 100%. So I'm going to wrap up with two things: how to manage or get through disappointments or frustrations, and then just maybe something for parents.
Yep.
Okay, it won't. This is not going to take me long.
Yep.
So first of all, as a player, number one, know that they're coming. Frustration, disappointments, they're coming. No matter what you think, they're coming. Some way, shape, or form, they're coming, and just always be ready for it. Enjoy and work through your good times, but then when disappointments happen, understand that that's all it is. It's got to happen. It's part of life. Okay. Number two, don't blame. At least don't do it for too long. Right. The worst thing that you can do is blame other people for your circumstances. Right. It's very easy to do, and if you say it, you can make a case for it every single time.
Yep.
I didn't get ice, and it's not my fault. It's the coach just won't play me. Or is it? Is there something in your control that can make a difference? Right. So there's always something so what I would say is what you can do is look inside and say, when there's a disappointment or a frustration that happens, is like, what can I do about it? How can I fix it? Right.
Yep.
So if it's an on ice thing, like if it's just in general, right, you're not getting a lot of direction. It's like really understand those 3-4 things that are your assets on the ice that you do better than anyone, or that you do very, very well, and make sure you stick to that the basic type of hockey that you that you play, and do it like extremely well, right? And then um, work on that perceived downfall that you may have, right? So if a coach is not giving you ice time, try to figure out why, and maybe you have to communicate that with the coaches. What do I have to do? That's a very important thing. Is get the communication piece is really big either way. But as if you're frustrated because you're not scoring goals, like, it's not like there's something you can do about that, right?
Hmm.
You can sit there and say, I'm not getting chances and be disappointed in that, or, but there's action steps that you can do, right? It's shooting more pucks, maybe watching videos, seeing where you're falling short, right? If it's criticism from somebody, like maybe the coaches, or you're like, let's say you're at a higher level now, and the scouts are saying, yeah, he's a good player, but he's a turnover machine. It's like, okay, you can cry and say, well, no, I'm not. Other guys do it too. That's not helping you. It's like, okay, maybe we watch some video, or you be honest with yourself and you look in that honesty mirror and say, okay, I'm a turnover machine. Where and how? And maybe if you watch and you're being honest with yourself, oh yeah, every time I do, not every time, but often when I get at the blue line or peel a puck off the wall, if I did it this way, or if I had a coach help me do this, maybe that fixes it and it's over with, right?
Yep.
Maybe yeah, or you're skating. Your skating is not good enough. It's like, okay, well, that's fixable. Don't cry because someone said your skating is not good enough. How can you fix that? Can you get stronger? Can you get faster? Can you work on some technique? And if that's those are solved, that's something that you can solve rather than cry about,
Yep.
right? So
Absolutely.
and again, work on those perceived downfalls, and make improvements, and disappointment might start disappearing, and then the, like I said earlier, then you conquer something, right? You get through something, you're better, you're stronger, like not just better on the ice or better in that situation because you got through it, you're better mentally, like you're tougher, man, you're
Yep.
tougher. And that's an important thing. The last thing is parents. This could be the make or break for a lot of kids. I take a lot of pride, honestly, that my son and I, and the players that we train in general, we have very, very good, honest conversations, right? And of course, I let my son, when he goes through some things, vent. We've had that conversation, and we have this conversation still. Are you just venting, or do you want to talk about it? And sometimes he says, I'm just venting. Okay, so I just got to be a garbage can with a hairy lid.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's okay
Yeah.
because I want to be a good dad,
Yep.
right? And then other times he goes, no, like, I'm getting screwed here. This, that, the other thing. This is bullshit or whatever. It's like, okay, well, let's talk about what. And again, it's solve problems now. So as parents, my thing is, and it's hard sometimes, if you, especially if you don't know what you're in, but you got to do your best to not put gas on the fire. So because negative goes real bad real fast. So if you start finding the coach is a jerk. The coach is a jerk. Yeah, he's an idiot. He's an idiot. Then all of a sudden, the coach is an idiot. You don't listen to one thing, and you're focused on, yeah, the problem's not me, man. It's you. But the problem with that is the coach determines your ice time and determines your future to a certain extent. So you want to fix your part. So do whatever you can to fix those things. And it's the same thing with the parents. If they hear, like I said, you got to work on your skating and stuff. A lot of parents don't like to hear negative about their kids. So if you hear that your kid can't skate, it's like a high percentage of parents say, "Well, that's bullshit. He's fine. He's better than this guy." Well, that's not the answer, man. It's not the answer. If a scout or someone at a high level, or someone's opinion is you're not a good skater, it's like maybe there's some truth to that. So help your kid solve those issues,
Yep.
right? The coaches just doesn't like me. It's like, okay, you can say that to the um, you can say to your kid, yeah, he's an asshole. You can say that, but you say, okay, but we have to make it so that you and the asshole can work together,
Yep.
and you can still perform. So
Yeah, for sure.